whose paper is entitled King Hamlet, the Ghost of Reformation.
Good evening. I wanted to thank Dr. Stein and Dr. Berry and Dean Rose for encouraging me through this wonderful new program. I'm honored to be here. In order to make my thesis topic as clear as possible for you, I want to give you a modern, real-world analogy. Although this may sound like I'm making a bad joke, bear with me. Imagine a Catholic, a Jew, and a Muslim all went to see the film The Passion of the Christ. Would you expect all three of these individuals to perceive the film the same? No, you wouldn't, because their differing religious point of views would color their viewing experience. This situation is what I explored in my thesis. However, the different point of views I researched were from the 16th to 17th century, and Catholicism is the only one familiar to the prior examples. My ultimate goal was to explore why the ghost in Hamlet is one of the most debated characters of Shakespeare. There are numerous scholarly articles claiming the ghost is a Catholic ghost from purgatory, a Protestant devil posing as a ghost, or even that the ghost is a figment of Hamlet's crazy mind. There is proof of all of this, but why? Shakespeare was an artist and an entertainer, and any good entertainer writes for the audience he needs to entertain. Although Protestantism was the dominant and legal religion of Elizabethan times, Catholicism still had a secret hold on the populace. Humanists enjoyed studying the past and learning from pagan scholars such as Socrates, Aristotle, and Plato. Humanism was a type of fad during the Reformation. Knowing the potential diversity of his audience, I hypothesized that Shakespeare wrote the character of the ghost as a bridge between the different perspectives of Catholicism, Protestantism, and humanism. The ghost appealed to all religious viewpoints on the afterlife during the Reformation, which is why he is the ghost of the Reformation. Despite religious differences, humanity is equally fascinated by the outer mystery of life. The outer mystery I refer to as an idea suggested by Robert West is the curiosity we feel when we wonder about the afterlife, the unknown. Protestants, Catholics, and humanists in the 17th century had their own explanation about ghosts. And just because two scholars are both Protestant does not mean that they both agree on the subject of ghosts. Protestants I researched included Louis Lavater, who wrote De Spectris in 1570, Reginald Scott's The Discovery of Witchcraft in 1584, King James I's Demonology in 1591, and Thomas Nash's Terrors of the Night from 1594. The only agreement on ghosts between these esteemed theologians was that human minds can play tricks, and there's always the possibility the so-called ghost is not actually real. Otherwise, these Protestants had very different viewpoints. Lavater believed the ghosts could be good or bad angels, but there were less ghost sightings after the removal of purgatory from church doctrine because there were more Protestants than Catholics at this time. And few spirits are seen or heard. Protestants are intelligent enough not to believe in the poetic fable of purgatory. Scott's point of view can be difficult to grasp because he has an interesting sense of logic. Scott verges towards atheism, attacking both Protestants and Catholics, despite that he is Protestant. He feels if, and a big if, there is a spirit, then it must be of God, for God is the only giver of life and being, and by him all things are made visible. James the first book directly rebuffs Lavater and Scott for saying spirits could be angels, for James claims that Satan sends beautiful images to use and trap chaste peoples. Yea, he will make his scholars to creep in credit with princes by foretelling them many great things, part true, part false. Nash's treatise also agrees that spirits are only devils. The devil can transform himself into an angel of delight, appear in the day as well as the night. Nash only disagrees with James on the logistics, such as the ghosts appear during the day, inhabit bodies, etc. He is also one of the first to suggest that ghosts couldn't be seen because of melancholy humor. For Catholic perspective, I researched Father Noel Telepad, who wrote a treatise of ghosts in 1588, and Pierre Leloyer, who wrote a treatise of specters in 1605. Father Noel's writings show more respect for spirits because of his belief in purgatory. He believes ghosts must be addressed appropriately by asking if they be good or bad spirits. The spirit must answer honestly if he's asked correctly, and if the spirit proves real, then there must be a message they have to convey to foretell some future event. Loyer seems more indecisive than Noel about the reality of spirits. His definition is that specter or apparition is an imagination of a substance without a body that which presented itself sensibly unto men against the order and course of nature, and maketh them afraid. You can hear from his definition that he is already contradicting himself. He once says spirits are real, but that they're also of the imagination. He agrees with Noel about purgatory and spirits accessing the living to help pay penance and shorten their time in the torturous flames of purgatory through the use of mass, bead rolls, which are rolls of prayer written for the dead, etc. Humanists that I studied were Erasmus's Praise of Folly from 1511, where he feels man who sees ghosts are simply idiots, and Agrippa, who writes in his fourth book of occult philosophy and the nature of spirits from 1594, that magic is responsible for ghosts. As you can see, the beliefs on ghosts were extremely mixed. So let's take a step into Hamlet and see Act 1, Scene 5 from the Protestant, Catholic, and Humanist perspective. Each viewpoint will be different and will disprove the prior viewpoint because these schools of thought did not agree on ghosts. Just as the Jew, the Muslim, and Catholic did not perceive the Passion of the Christ the same, so too did Shakespeare's 17th century audience perceive the ghost differently. From the Protestant viewpoint, the ghost asked for revenge for his most foul and unnatural murder. A devil would ask Hamlet to commit revenge. The ghost even insults Hamlet, stating if Hamlet fails, the ghost will find him duller shouldst thou be than the fat weed that roots itself in ease on left worth. A devil would know how to use guilt to get what he wants out of his victim. The devil also would not be beyond telling the truth, just as King James suggests. Hence, when the devil tells Hamlet about portending doom, the ghost could be doing this to further trick Hamlet into sin. From a Catholic perspective of the same scene, they would focus on the aspects of the ghost's speech, which speaks of purgatory. I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain time to walk the night, for the day confined with fasts and fires. Just as Father Noel says, the ghost requests Hamlet to complete a task, seeming to warn Hamlet not to die with his sins on his soul like his father had, and to keep an eye on his mother, protecting her from the ghost's fate as well. From a humanist perspective, the same scene would take on a different tone, as the humanist would focus on the ghost's last request, remember me. Since remembrance was how past peoples focused on spirits in the afterlife, a humanist would feel the ghost merely wants to be remembered by his son, so that his son, through his father's memory, can redeem and save the kingdom and not place a blight on King Hamlet's good name as a ruler. Protestants may focus on the devil-like implications. Catholics would focus on the purgatorial references. Humanists would be attracted to the tradition upheld by the ghost's need for remembrance. This is how King Hamlet's ghost embodies the questions about afterlife during the Reformation. He is a dynamic character created by Shakespeare to appeal to his entire 17th century Elizabethan audience, so that all people who viewed Hamlet would leave with their own perspective on the ghost and the tragedy of the play. The ghost is more than just a character. He is a symbol of the struggle to understand the outer mystery of life.